A big thanks to designmybeat.com for sponsoring this video. They have a huge selection of sample-based software instruments and drum and beat sample packs inspired by real artists like Martin Garrix, Hardwell, Skrillex, Tiesto, Calvin Harris, and more. Check out Tomorrowland, Elixir of EDM, and their newest instrument, Tomorrowland 2, Elixir of Stars, which contains more than 10,000 sample instruments, sound effects, and drums. Check out the links in the video description below for more info. Hey guys, this is MusicTechHelpGuy, and welcome to another sort of off-the-cuff synthesis sound design tutorial today. What I'm going to be doing today is creating something I call pitched echoes. And what I like to do is I like to take a synth lead that's sort of like an ostinato repeating idea, something like this. So pay attention to this synthesizer here. And then in the mix with everything else. So the reason why I played such a long example is I wanted you to hear how the piano sort of starts kind of softer and then builds up and builds up and builds up in intensity. And I want this synth lead to do the same. So, you know, one thing we could do is we could just draw in some volume automation. You know, we could easily just do something like this and make the synth ostinato sort of build over time. And that can be easily done in Logic just by pressing A to show your automation and then draw in your volume automation. But that's only going to control the volume of that synthesizer and all the effects that are on that channel. What I want to do is I want to create some auxiliary channels and some feedback effects, some auxiliary feedback effects to add a different element to this synthesizer that's pitched up an octave or a fifth or a fourth. Whatever. So I'm just going to solo this out for now. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a send, an effect send off of this synth lead track. So I'll go down to bus 11 since it's available there. I'll option click on the send amount just to set it to unity. And then on the aux track that it creates, I'm going to add two things. I'm going to add the pitch shifter plugin. And with the pitch shifter, I'm going to pull this up 12 semitones to start. I'm going to set the mix to 100%. And for this pitch shift effect, I'm going to use the pitch tracking timing option, and I'm going to turn on the latency compensation. So let's give this a listen. Let's see what this sounds like. Yeah, it seems like pitch tracking is the smoothest. I was trying out manual there, but yeah, it seems like pitch tracking is the smoothest. So all we're hearing is essentially we're hearing the original signal here on the actual synth track, and then we're hearing the pitched up an octave signal here. So then what you can do is you can delay this. So what I'll do is I'll add a delay plugin. You can use Delay Designer, you can use Stereo Delay if you want two channels left and right. I'm going to use the tape delay. It's just a single channel delay. And I don't want any dry signal in here. I just want wet signal. So I'm going to pull that up to 100%. Let's go ahead and filter that delay. Let's pull up the feedback a touch. And I think a quarter note will work. Let's see what this sounds like now. Cool, so I've got that up an octave delay in there. You can try doing things like 7 semitones, which is a perfect fifth. Or you can try 5 semitones up, which is a perfect fourth. Those are typically going to be the more stable intervals that you can work with for this sort of an effect, where they don't end up sounding dissonant. So I've just got this pitch shifter and the delay so far. Let's add some reverb to this. So I already got chroma verb right on the channel, just for the actual, the original lower octave synth sound, just to give it some ambience. Let's add another effect send on bus 12. Option click on that. You can use any reverb you want, but I am going to use Shimmer from Valhalla. I love this thing. It's an amazing sound design tool. And I'm going to set the mix blend to 100%. And I'm going to pull the shift down because it's probably going to be kind of bright sounding. And let's see what this sounds like. So the only reverb we're hearing on the Shimmer plugin right now is coming from this channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the pitch shifted channel here, and I'm going to send this over to the Shimmer channel. So that was bus 12, and I'll option click on that. I should probably rename these as well. So I'll just call this pitch shift delay, and then I'll call bus 12 Shimmer verb. There we go. So now I can create that effect send, again, going into bus 12. And again, bus 12 is that Shimmer verb. So I probably don't want this at 100%, but let's see what this sounds like. Now, when I'm working with these types of effects, I generally like to set my effects sends to pre-fader mode. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to individually control the channel levels without affecting the send levels. So the amount, this volume automation here we had on the original synth lead is not going to affect the amount of signal going to either of these effects sends. And like before, now I can adjust the channel level of the pitch shifted channel without affecting the amount going over to bus 12. I can just manually adjust that here. So what you can do now is show some additional automation lanes here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to control the amount of bus 11, or the amount going to bus 11 and bus 12 off of this channel, so the send amount. So I'm going to go to volume, or I'm going to go to main actually, and I'm going to go down to send 1 and then send 2 Shimmer verb, and I can fade these in as well. So I'll just pull this down to start. I don't want to hear any of the, almost none of the pitch shifting effect at first. Then I'll fade that in over time. And the same thing goes for the Shimmer reverb effect. I'll start off with almost nothing and then have it fade in somewhere around here. So just to make the pitched effect not sound so direct and so bright, I filtered it a bit more here. And then I also pulled up the spread effect a bit, it's a stereo spread, just to pull it out. I'm going to turn on this diffuse mode as well. On the pitch shifted channel, we can control the amount of this effect send going back into the shimmer channel. So it's sort of like a feedback effects loop. And I covered this in a couple other videos where you can create some really cool effects by routing other effects back into reverb channels and creating sort of like an effects send and return off of an already existing auxiliary channel. And a true example of like an effects feedback loop would be if I went into my shimmer channel here and also sent this into the pitch shift channel a bit. And so what this is going to do is create sort of this crossed loop between the two different channels. Let's go ahead and put this on pre-fader as well. So now our synth lead like really grows, not just volume wise, but texturally it grows. And from an ambient standpoint, it grows as well. So let's hear this one more time with everything else back in the mix. Now, if you wanted to control this whole effect and this whole instrument with all of those ambient effects all at once, it's actually pretty simple. Just open up your mixer, drag over the two auxiliary channels that you created, right-click on them and choose Create Track or press Control-T. And what this will do is it will create actual visible tracks up here in the main window up here. And what you can do is select all three of these, go up to Track, and then go to Create Track Stack, and then create a summing stack out of these. So now we could call this ambient lead or something like that. And now I have control over that entire instrument with all of its ambience right here on a single channel. So if I need to pull the whole thing down, I could do that relatively easily. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. You can also check me out on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and if you'd like to make a monthly contribution to the channel, you can check me out at patreon.com/MusicTechHelpGuy. As always, thanks for the support, and thanks for watching.